Good Samaritans and fellow agents, welcome back to the Pig Roach Files. Today, we are in the DIA control room. We will be looking at a single topic today, and that will be the Pig Roach versus taxes. Buckle up, everyone. We're going to do a deep dive into this topic, as it is the driving force for a lot of interesting developments when talking about the Pig Roach. We start off with this video, the Unrecorded Subnautica stream from Special Agent Mrhuth.
Alright, here's the deal. Me being honest with you, I'm going to talk about this on pre-streams and everything starting tomorrow as well. March will probably be the most important month ever for me as a content creator because I need to basically raise as many funds as possible, way more than usual. You know, typically I make a certain amount on Twitch every month. It's great. I can't complain. I need to make way more than that in this month. The reason being, my taxes are going to be coming due, federal taxes, in mid-April. I think the exact date is April 17th. I could be wrong there. It could be the 15th. I don't know yet. I'll know when my tax attorney completes my taxes. I just did all my tax work earlier this week, did everything that was required of me, sent it to the tax attorney. Then he wanted more information. I gave it to him, and he's working on it right now. Didn't give me a commitment of when they will have an answer for me of how much I owe and all that, but they're supposed to let me know sooner rather than later. I told them chances are in April I may be traveling to go to Connecticut to visit my parents, and therefore if that's the case, that's even less time for them to finish it and give me what I need to sign off on forms and have it filed. In addition to that, I told them the earlier you tell me how much I owe, the better it is for me because I can figure out how much I need to raise. Okay? So I've got this huge amount of money that I know I'm going to owe the federal government. All right? I know it. And I'm very nervous because here's the deal. The way it works is twofold, okay? When it comes to federal taxes and the fact that you can't pay them, one of two things will happen. The federal government will either say, we're going to put you on a payment plan that you will agree to. And it could be up to, from what I'm understanding, it could be years, or it could be short term. It could be whatever they decide. You're in their hands, what they want to do. No, the way the payment plan works is if you don't pay it, now you're really screwed. Because if you don't pay their payment plan, now they can actually try to garnish things like wages and stuff. Just basically, money that I have coming in, they'll try to take it before I can even use it. I don't know how much they could possibly do. But in general, it's not good. If you repeatedly don't pay your taxes, you go to jail. Felony tax evasion. Okay? So in this regard, it's a big deal. If they put me on this payment plan, I have to find a way to pay it, and I don't know what it's going to be. It could be, oh, we understand your things are super tight right now and you're not doing good. So here, it'll be a couple $100s a month. Maybe I can make that work. Versus, $1,000 a month. I don't have it. There's no way I can pay that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. The other thing they can do, is they can put a lien on your house. So they might say, now this is just me pulling a number out of thin air. Phil, you owe $20,000 that you didn't pay in taxes. We're just going to put a lien on your home for that. So if you ever want to refinance your mortgage or sell your house, the first place that the profits go is to us. Okay? That's how it works. That sucks. Because that means that, remember, the big thing that I'm hoping for to eventually get out of debt is a refinance of my home. I have a lot of equity in this house. I've lived here since 2014, and the home value has gone up every year I've lived here to the point where I know eventually I can refinance this house. And when I do that, what I want to do is take all of my shitty credit card debt, loan debt, all this debt that I have that's considered bad debt, put it into the mortgage, dramatically reduce my monthly payments, and now that extra money goes to the taxes, goes to paying the things that I'm having trouble paying right now. The problem right now is I have an insane amount of this bad debt, credit card, loan debt. It's considered bad debt, and it's exponential interest rates. Where in the last year and a half, and this is no exaggeration, my credit card payments more than doubled. So I used to pay a certain amount a month for all my credit cards. that I now pay more than double that. I have the same amount of debt. It's not like my debt went up, but because of the same amount of debt, because interest rates and everything in the United States have raised recently, the Fed raised interest rates and everything, all these credit card companies freaked out. Oh my God, and they raised their interest rates. So I'm paying more than double what I used to in credit card payments every month. That was the money I used to have to pay taxes. So until I can get rid of these credit cards, I can never be in a better position. So what I need to do is refinance this house, whether I can do it this year or next year. I need to show consistent income of a certain level. I now have 2 years of consistent income that's higher and hopefully is enough to qualify for a refinance. If not, 1 more year maybe, and hopefully that's enough. And then once I qualify for the refinance, I get rid of all the credit card debt and all these problems go away. If seriously, the day the credit card debt is gone and it goes into a mortgage payment, all my problems go away. Credit rating will increase dramatically, so my credit will get healthier. I'll have less monthly payments, be able to pay my taxes. All I need to be able to do is do that. And it sucks. It just really sucks, okay? It does. My problem is, like, it doesn't seem like either situation is a good one. If the government puts me on a payment plan for the taxes, I don't know if I can afford it. And I'm kind of at their whim, whatever they want to do, okay? I'm at their mercy. And I don't know what else to do because how am I going to pay it? Right now, I'm barely making ends meet to pay my own stuff. How am I going to pay this payment plan they put me on, right? Unless somehow I get an increase in income. If they put the lien on my house, okay, at least short term, that's the better option because now immediately I don't have to come up with money. But number one, still that doesn't help me with paying taxes this year. The new taxes for this year. Number two, what if I want to refinance and now they look, oh man, you got a 20 grand lien on your house? That we don't want to deal with that because that's less equity for you. And now that's less debt of yours that you can pay off. There's basically no good situation. The only good situation here is if I somehow raise enough funds to pay off most, if not all, of the taxes that I'm going to owe by mid-April. In 1 month. Basically, I have 1 month, the month of March, and the first 2 weeks of April. That's the time. I have a month and a half left to raise enough funds to pay my federal taxes. And if I can't do that, I'm basically financially screwed. Realistically, the only...
As you heard, that the Pig Roach is in a panic, trying to find a way to pay for his taxes yet again. And he has broke down the following options, including an IRS payment plan, which isn't actually that bad of a thing, credit card payments to take care of taxes owed, and even selling his house. The Pig Roach is now pushing other avenues of getting him money in the form of tips, Teespring, and his pay me tons. He is using these avenues because they give him money into his pocket immediately versus subs and cheers, which he has to wait on. He's also talked about what caused this snowball of tax issues. But where did all of these tax issues arise from? Where did they all start? Well, let's talk about it. Back in late 2017 and into early 2018, when the Pig Roach started begging for help with his 2017 taxes, which the deadline for was quickly approaching at the time. He claimed that he owed and needed to pay, at first, about $4,000, which were his back taxes owed. He reached that goal using a bleeding method that was the first initial major begging streams, which were the holiday season begging streams of 2017. he ended up bleeding out his pay pigs pretty hard to reach that 4K. And as you saw this last year, 2018, that he went ahead and tried to do it again, but it failed miserably. He went into the start of 2018 with that 4K under his belt, and then he started asking for more from his cult that he has. The amount again was another 4K, bringing it up to about an 8K total. Oddly enough, that this amount of money, which he received overall for his hardcore begging in early 2018 to pay for those taxes, went ahead and pushed again and moved those goalposts a little more, claiming that he had to go ahead and make a payment for June, which is true. Small business owners usually end up paying their taxes quarterly so that they don't get too far behind with it. After the begging started to die down in early February, that is when we started to find out that the Pig Roach was trying to move Cat from Michigan to the Gout Palace in Renton, Washington. And the theories started flying. Most people in the detractor community, including those over on Kiwi Farms, as well as my fellow agents like GTG, Snort Burnell, and Mighty D, all concluded that the funding that he raised for his taxes didn't go to his taxes. They went into moving the cat across the country and possibly paying out her previously owed debt. Some of the good Samaritans over on Kiwi Farms, who check the numbers of the Pig Roach pretty thoroughly, usually give us a lowball estimate of how much money he makes month to month, and finally at the end of the year. It came out in early 2018 that in the calendar year of 2017, the Pig Roach made roughly $100,000, which would equate to about owing $12,000 of tax money. It's not a shock where he got those numbers from. I still remember the video where he held up a folder and claimed that that was all of his tax information for the entire year, and it looked like it was just a couple pieces of paper. More accusations kept flying that the Pig Roach was lying to his cult to bring in more money because it was easy for him to go ahead and just keep hitting the panic button. Fast forward now to the end of 2018. We heard once again about needing to raise funds for upcoming tax payments. He told us now that he would roughly need about $20,000 to help pay for his taxes. This prompted the amazing cuck, that is known as Emerald 7, to come out of nowhere and dump a ton of gifted subs into the lap of the Pig Roach, which came out to be roughly about $12,000 into the piggy's wallet. He stated that that money from Twitch that came to him recently did not go to his taxes. He stated that that money went to pay his bills. And what I thought about when I heard that was that that money from Emerald 7 and his other pay pigs who were trying to help him out did not get used for the taxes. like he claimed. They went right into his credit card bills. Furthermore, we found out that his taxes that he owed in 2017 were also paid using credit cards, which was that 8K plus that he raised from late 2017 into early 2018. And that is the exact time frame when Cat was moving across the country, as well as needing to buy new wardrobes, new phones, various other items, as well as waiting for her job to start. That was like moving and having a mini staycation after the move. And to help support this theory, here's Special Agent GTG breaking things down from his latest broadcast.
Theorists out there who think I have some kind of an offshore fucking bank account, right? Where I roll all my money into an offshore bank account and one day I'm just gonna vanish from the internet and never play games again.
Now that's what was that triggered Tevin that ended up sparking me doing that whole going over his whole tax situation broadcast. I'm not sure when I'll do it yet. I have to kind of compile everything up for it, but I will do it. He had said something along the lines of about money being stashed away and that he didn't actually have it, so he didn't understand why people kept attacking him on this, and he really needed help and he was really in trouble, yada 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 yada. And one of the major problems that we had about it is, one, we know that the money in December was used to basically bring Cat over. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, Cat lives in Michigan, he's in Seattle. I think someone did the calculations, that's exactly 2,000 miles one way. Or is it both ways? It might have been one way. So he had done that 3 or 4 times, right? Before he actually ended up moving her in. So that must have cost a grip. You know what I'm saying? For sure. So that right there would have eaten through at least some of December's, the whole December fundraiser situation. Hence the reason why, he needed to set up the special events moving forward, which is what led people to the theory that there is no real tax issue. He's using, but it goes back to something that I've said where the taxes is going to be parlayed into, this is my financial situation, I'm always going to have this, because guess what? He has to pay his taxes every quarter. Wayne's does too, and he doesn't seem to have a problem, extracting what he needs to put where it needs to go, or at least save it for when he needs to pay his taxes. But Phil isn't that smart, I guess. Then, these taxes are such a drain on me, so now my regular finances are suffering. So now I can't cover my regular bills and so on and so forth. I told you guys all about this back in December, or December of 2017 leading into the 2018 season. That season. Whatever. Then into the 2018 season. That he's going to turn this into basically, it's almost like Gautopian welfare, if you think about it. Where that's the plan. That's the scheme. That's why during in the end of 2017, leading into the middle of 2018, he kept pushing that whole thing that crowdfunding is the future. So he said it even before that, but he really emphasized it, that crowdfunding is the future. It's going to be the way to go. YouTube ain't shit. Didn't say anything bad about Twitch, but he's like, your support is what really helps me get through all this, so on and so forth, yada yada yada. So this was always going to be the scheme. It was always going to be the scheme, and you're seeing it even more now. So he's put himself in such a financial burden that he can't possibly get himself out. And if he is saving money up, which is possible, it's for a wedding or it's for something big. And that's why he's kind of in this desperate panic mode. But see, what you didn't realize, Phil, is you ain't sat there and you ain't screwed up the scheme. You fucked up the marketing scheme back in October, November, December. Instead of you trying to draw sympathy leading into the holiday season, you sat there and you basically try to wage war against Tevin and Almighty Egg Gang. That didn't work out, and then everything else just sounded disingenuous leading onwards. If even more disingenuous than it already is. So that's kind of how he ended up screwing himself up. You know what I mean? And like I said, all of it sounds like a lie because he just keeps switching the story up to kind of fit his needs. And that's kind of one of the major problems for all this. But let's continue. DSP News.
And say, I fooled you guys. I embezzled $4 zillion while I was fucking doing this. Spoiler alert. People that believe those kind of conspiracies are morons. It's not like you've been seeing me rolling in dough. You see me with new clothes on every day. You've been seeing me wear the same shit forever. You know what I mean? Like, it's so ludicrous.
That's not true either, because doesn't Cat buy him new shirts almost every time they go out? And Phil's, that's one of the reasons why, I think Tevin's brought this up. I'm pretty sure Theo and James the Lesser have talked about this. It's one of the reasons why he's so paranoid that he won't show us the house anymore. Because he doesn't want to show us all the new stuff that's been purchased. And I'm sure some new stuff has been purchased. If anything else, Phil is by far a credit card whore. He's someone who would, whenever he sees something that he wants, he'll buy it. It's just how he is. He doesn't think that maybe I shouldn't buy that right now, and maybe let me put a little bit of money away, wait until it gets cheaper, stuff like that. It's, I want it, I'm going to get it. He's been like that. His, Tevin's Back in Time, in the move from Connecticut to Seattle, it proves all that. It's no different. You know what I'm saying? So I think in some ways, Leanna gets hit with the, gets hit with an unfair notion of being a complete and total gold digger, when Phil is just as much of a whore is just as much of a shopping whore as she was, and that's if she even was one. You know what I mean? It is what it is. What person's gonna say no to somebody else buying nice stuff, especially if that nice stuff is for them directly or benefits them? There are very few people that have the type of consideration saying, "Oh no, I don't need that right now. I'm okay." There are people who will do that. Don't get it twisted, but there's not a lot. And especially someone like Panda, who's young and was really hoping that this thing was going to last forever. You know, make it last. I should really have, if I had thought ahead, I could have put that song back there. Anyway, so that's kind of one of the situations. That's kind of one of the problems. Do you really think Phil has changed his stripes or his spots or whatever it is that pigs have? No. He might have to curve it a little bit, or he might have to give you guys the illusion that he's curving it, but nothing's actually changed. Nothing's changed at all. So that's why he has to hide more and more of his life. That's why he's too scared to even show what's in his office anymore. He's scared that people are going to see what he's doing. He's really, really frightened. And that's why you see more and more of the pre-streams, he won't put the camera up. Eventually, and this is just my personal opinion, he should just go ahead and get rid of the webcam altogether for his playthroughs. It adds nothing to it. And he's so paranoid anyway that every little thing he does, he's afraid people are going to make fun of, which they will. And rightfully so. Let's continue.
But whatever. I can't even afford a new TV because my TV has massive input lag. My PS4 is on its last legs with audio issues and everything. I don't have money for that. And you're going to tell me like I'm...
Let's go ahead and cut into that a minute. So Tevin's pointing this out. It's the way that Phil tries to extract the audio for his headphones was the real problem. There were other easier ways he could have gone about it, but Phil's an idiot and he's lazy, so he went about it the way he did. On top of that, if you go to an S. Julius Cruz video where you literally, like, he has a video out there where you can't see it, but you can hear Phil banging on the damn PS4 saying, "Stupid PS4 work, stupid PS," very caveman-like, to say the very least. You should save more of that pounding for Cat in the bedroom, but whatever. So there's a better man already doing that. But he's sitting here banging on it like a goddamn caveman, and yeah, the damn thing broke. And then last night, he said, "Oh, even though I have the PS4, the PS4 Pro, there's not really much of a difference." Yeah, Phil, there really isn't. People try to tell you that, but you're kind of an idiot. And then as he talks about the input lag on his television, one, the TV was old as shit anyway, and two, it's no better for him anyway. One of the reoccurring things that's going around lately on Kiwi Farms, on Reddit, and on a couple other places, because some people linked me to some stuff on Reddit. It was a good read, to say the very least, but it was a good read. I'm not sure where they were trying to go with it, but it was a good read, though, to say the very least. Is Phil's eyes burning. And one of the reasons why is because the idiot's supposed to be wearing glasses. That's the first thing. Secondly, maybe, just maybe, if you're going to be playing games hours on end, you might want to have eye drops. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who's in front of the computer for anything more than like 8 or 9 hours, like myself, I have eye drops. Who cares that you just drop some eye drops in your eyes real quick? No big deal. That's super easy. On top of that, he could buy gamer glasses, or what they call as gunners, or whatever the case may be. Phil says he actually owns a pair. I never personally saw him wear it, nor did I ever hear anything about it. But he says he does. They're in a box somewhere. They're no good to you in that box. So you getting a brand spanking new television didn't really help you out much either. You really didn't need it, but he wanted it. See how the justification of his thinking is? Alrighty, let's continue.
Saving money exorbitantly, rolling money into an offshore bank account. People are nuts, all right? But I digress, folks. Wednesday
that was part 2 of my point. When someone brought up Phil having a hard time getting loans, getting personal loans, which is funny that he brought that up because we know he has business loans. He has at least 2, possibly 3 through Panda. But he's talking about personal loans and this, that, and the third. I think it came through, or it came about, because someone was asking him about his credit score. Something along those lines. In any case, Tevin has said, well, is that the reason why you don't have your actual, you don't actually have your Twitch money, and probably YouTube money, but certainly Twitch money. Is that the reason why you don't have your YouTube money go to your actual bank account, which we all know Phil has? You have it go to PayPal instead because you're afraid that the government's going to levy or garnish wages from him? And he sounded damn near panicked when that came up. So that's just something else to put out there also, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it's just to try to sell the story. You know, maybe it's a work. You know, maybe it's a shoot. Who can say? Phil, since all you do is watch WWE, not wrestling, WWE, you know what that means. Let's continue.
It'll be a fun day for everyone. Even if you can't contribute, please still show up to the stream. Have some fun with me. Have some interaction. But if you can show up and support, it's greatly appreciated. Help me get through this hurdle in April, right? So that we can keep this house. I mean, now Kat's here. We're having a life together. Things are amazing. We want to stay here. We don't want to lose out and have to sell the house, which would be insanely bad. Please, you know, if you can, show up on Wednesday and support. Sound good? All right. Dope Soap did 100 cheers.
As you heard, we had a matching theory that the Pig Roach moved the cat across the country, paid down her debts, paid down his debt, all while using the money that the pay pigs gave to him for his taxes. He drains his bank account now to go ahead and make ends meet while mounting more debt onto his credit cards, which the guys over on Kiwi Farms have estimated to be upwards of $450,000. The Pig Roach values vanity over anything else. That's why he refuses to quit his job and get a real job. That is why he refuses to sell the Gout Palace. Because, in his eyes, that is his success. Everything he's worked towards, everything he is, it is that house, cat, his video game playing lifestyle, and the couple of cars he has in the garage. That is why some of us, like James the Lesser Express Lane, hypothesized that he won't do another house tour due to the fact that he's been buying frivolous crap to put in to the Gout Palace. He states that he overdrafts his bank account all the time. Meanwhile, we know that he makes roughly $8,000 to $10,000 a month on Twitch, not counting everything else. Meanwhile, his cult has started to ask questions. They are doubting the Pig Roach Master. They want more in return for their hard-earned money that they are investing for their minuscule amount of entertainment they receive from the Pig Roach. However, he is too lazy. He took away his dollar sub in his pay me tons. Now it's $5 or more. He upped the bit minimum just to get more money out of troll cheers. Smart play. He went ahead and pretty much separated his YouTube channel, which he places about 8 ads on an hour-long video, and complains if they do not get placed correctly. Of his stream, which he censors anyways, because he doesn't upload pre-streams at times. That's why we think people like Special Agent Mr. Huth for saving some of that gold. So we have yet to hear what this new magic number is for these upcoming taxes owed for the year of 2018. My speculation, in theory, is that he will not go ahead and state that goal until after he goes onto this podcast with the drunken peasants in a couple weeks. That is because he wants the exposure to whine about his cause, and maybe he can get some pity bucks if the drunken peasants go ahead and roast that pig. I theorize that the magic number that he will throw out will be about $18,000. And if he doesn't raise that, he will have to sell the house. Now, is it possible that the Pig Roach might actually be working towards selling the house anyways and moving? Think about it. His house has gone up in value since he started there 5 years ago. If he can find a way to sell that house, take some of his profits, and move to a different part of the country, say the Midwest, where he can get a nice house like the Gout Palace for a fraction of the cost, all while still looking for those pity bucks where people feel bad for him for losing his house. It's an interesting con, but the Pig Roach might actually be able to pull something like that off. He will state that he can't go see his parents in the beginning of April, which he's already alluded to, because too many games are coming out. He has too many tax worries, and that his birthday week is coming. That's right. A 36-year-old man needs a birthday week. Unlike the rest of us adults who might have a nice night out on our birthday. Now here is a clip from the recent broadcast of Special Agent GTG, where he breaks down a clip from Special Agent Mr. Huth, where the Pig Roach discusses that he thinks his owed taxes will be roughly $20,000. Please watch this and come to your own conclusion. I would like to hear from you guys down in the comments of what you think will happen here in the month of March and further into the beginning of April as that tax deadline starts to push on the Pig Roach.
Richards, I'm wondering how.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this here is the $20,000 for taxes and YouTube ads. This was recorded February 22nd of 2019. So basically a year, probably off by 3 days. So I wanted you to hear this because I thought it was crucial.
For taxes been going. There's no saving. Basically what we've got is I got a big payment from Twitch, and I use that to pay down bills and the like. I have some of it saved, like some of it's left. And what I'm going to do now is, get through this month, get through next month, and pay all the bills and everything that needs to get paid, the standard stuff. And like I told you guys, by the end of this month, I have to send all the information for my taxes to my tax attorney and tell him I need the information by early April, basically, so I know what I owe, so I can figure out if I can pay it or not. And that's it. Whatever I can raise via special events and stuff, say in March, and probably in April I'll do something for my birthday like I did last year. Whatever I can raise in March and April, that goes towards the taxes. Anything in excess of what I need the base to pay my bills. And outside of that, whatever happens. Whether they put a lien on
Okay, so this is why we're going to play the previous video. We're going to play that one more time towards the end. I probably won't say anything through it, though, unless something really stands out to me. So this man right here said in the previous video that he's taken all the money from the end of 2017 and then everything that he's planning on taking to 2018 to pay all of his normal stuff, but mainly to pay his taxes. And anything that he has in excess, in surplus, if you will, he'll roll over to the next tax date. Okay. Now, he's saying that there's nothing saved at all. Now, the reason why I've clipped this is because what he's going to say afterwards. So that's really, really important. I'm going to try not to talk too much until after that point. But he's saying right now that he has nothing saved up for taxes at all. At all. This is in February. February 22nd, I believe I said this was. Yeah, this was February 22nd. He's been talking about taxes since end of last year. So what happened to all the money that he was able to accumulate between, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say November of last year up till now? Where's all that tax money that he said, I really need your guys' help with? Please tip me because I need these tips to go directly to my taxes and so on and so forth. Where was all that money diverted off to? Hashtag, I think I'm starting to smell some bacon sizzling. Just a little bit.
house, whether they put me on a payment plan, whether or not I can even afford it. I don't know what's going to happen. I guess we're going to find out. So there you go. All right, let's keep knocking stuff down. The bottom line is I think I'm going to owe a ton of money. I do. I think I'm going to owe... I'm just guessing. This is just me guessing. I'm guessing I'm going to owe the government 20 grand. Not even lying. Probably about $20,000. And that's because I didn't pay taxes all year, and I now have fees and interest and everything that's accrued on top of whatever the base amount was that I owed. Now, I didn't even make, like about half of that from the special gifted subs that I got from Emerald 7. At least I got a little bit of a start, but I doubt I'll have half of that left by the time that it's kind of time to pay the taxes. So we're going to see what happens.
Okay, so just off the muscle, just off the just off the pig fat, just off that pork belly. That's what I was actually thinking about. Just off the pork belly off that. I should say pork spare ribs instead, but I'll use this for something else. He just said that even with the Emerald 7 money, and I pointed this out in the previous broadcast, even with the Emerald 7 money, he doesn't even have half. So it's obvious that he's blowing that money to go to somewhere else, obviously. Now, I'm going to bring this all up in just a second because it's going to be important. But essentially, he has nothing saved up. There's nothing there. He might have a little bit put to the side, but there's no way he's going to be able to pay the complete total that the government wants. But he was supposedly put on a payment plan last year. So he doesn't have to cough up all the money anyway. So he's instilling the same type of urgency that he did in 2018 that he's doing this year. Or vice versa is really what I meant. So that's the first problem. Second problem is he says that because he doesn't have enough to cover the whole fee, if you will, the whole 20K or whatever, he's hoping these special events are going to be able to come through and help him out. Just kind of like last year, where he basically burned the bacon to such a point where he's forcing people to throw extra money on him to him so he doesn't burn it completely. That's essentially what he's doing. He's waiting till the very last second to go ahead and try to do all these special events so people will just kind of flood in with money. And it's not going to work. It never seems to work when Phil does it at all. And then he's probably not even on the up and up about the Emerald 7 money. Now, let me get into my next point. You notice that he doesn't talk about YouTube money at all. Like when he gets paid by YouTube and all that. He doesn't talk about that anymore. He just says the YouTube ad money is low, super low. It's, he doesn't want to say that it's insignificant because that'd be a lie. But it's almost nothing there. So he still gets paid by YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what. He's still catching that check. And then he's catching whatever he's catching from Patreon. So this guy isn't in complete destitute. You know what I'm saying? And he probably has enough between YouTube as well as Patreon to cover his monthly bills. At least some of them, not the mortgages, obviously, but at least most of the credit card bills and at least his utilities or whatnot. So a lot of these, so when the big check comes in, which is obviously Twitch, that should be more than enough to cover just about everything else. Have a little bit of money to be put away for taxes, and then other things for peripherals. You know what I mean? Worst case scenario. But he doesn't explain it like that. He doesn't even, like I said, he doesn't even talk about YouTube, and he very rarely talks about Patreon except for, you have a way of tipping him. Or, sorry, you can donate to him. But he's not talking about the amounts anymore. He's not talking about if goals are being hit. He's not talking about, hey, we hit the 1250 or not. He's not talking about any of that. And that's probably because he's slowly but surely losing faith in it, but that doesn't mean it's still not there. He's still making $600 to $800 each month for nothing. Just keep that in mind.
We'll see. That's me guessing, but we'll see. In reality, we'll see what I owe. So, and by the way, saying that me saying, the 20 grand is an estimate is very much just a guess. I have no idea. I think it's going to be more because based off of what I was told, if I had paid all of my taxes on time with all of my write-offs and everything that I get, I would have had to pay around $16,000 over the course of last year. Okay? They wanted me to pay $4,000 every quarter. I had no money. I literally never had money to pay taxes last year.
So he never paid it. So now, all the money that was accumulated for taxes, where did it all go? Now, he's going to say that, that went towards the back business tax or so on and so forth. Okay, fair enough. Okay, that's cool. Fair enough. I'll give him that. All right, well, it went to that. He was definitely in the... Shit, man, he made crazy money off that December thing, and he was making pretty good money off each one of those charity streams or fundraising streams until that got shut down. So I don't want to give a flush amount, but we're talking about somewhere between 15 and 30 grand over the span of 2018 that could have gone to taxes. Where'd it go? Where'd all that money go? And then we now know, because of recent leaks, that Panda has legal charges and shit still pending against her in Michigan. So did the money go there? And then everything else and now taxes have become phantom taxes now? What's going on? Where's all this money that's supposedly being accumulated? And I keep in mind 30 grand is a lot, and that's just on the high end. That's just me estimating, so don't go off that completely. But it's over 10. Where's all this money going? Supposedly for taxes. What's he doing with all of it? And if he's putting this all away because maybe, and this is this is all me just kind of throwing it out there, that Kat says, "Hey, I have some issues that I really need some help taken care of," and since allegedly she's throwing damn near her whole paycheck at Phil, even though Phil says that she has debts that she needs to take care of herself, like from her previous life, as Phil likes to make it sound. Is it possible, ladies and gentlemen? Is it possible? Okay, because I'm about to throw some flapjacks on for you guys in a minute. It's gonna have walnuts in it. Some of them might have cranberry, maybe blueberry. I don't know about you guys, but I like to give some variety in my pancakes. Is it possible that Kat was like, "Hey, I have all of these expenses back home that there's no way I can cover, and I'm helping you here as best as I can. If you cover all of this back home for me, you go ahead and you write the checks out to me for this. I'll send them wherever the case may be, and take care of all those. I can actually contribute. I'm okay with contributing a little more than what I had offered of my paycheck to you, because apparently Kat's working around the clock until the wee evening and shit, where they're eating at she doesn't get home. He says she doesn't get home until 12 o'clock, and then they eat, spend time with each other, and then they go to bed. Phil's saying that he doesn't go to bed till 2. We know that's a lie. It usually doesn't go to bed till 4, and that's just a whole rigmarole that we'll get into in just a second. That's plausible, though. It's possible that that's maybe what Kat said. I'll knock out this debt for me, and then I can better help you out with all of this. Phil thinking, well, she does have a job and whatnot, and she does really throw a lot of her paycheck at me. Sure, why not? Now, I don't want to get into the whole con situation of all that, because that's me demonizing someone without a whole lot of proof, so I'll hold off on that. But that could be an angle that could be taken. Either which way, there's still a whole lot of money that's missing. And if you go back and look at the old Snort and Mr. Huffstuff videos and Mighty D videos, it's all there. There's all these big totals being brought up. There's all this big money that's on the screen, and now Phil's saying that he doesn't have nothing saved up and it's all gone. So either A, his monthly expenses are exceeding what they were normally, B, he's hiding money somewhere, or C, it's all a fucking lie, and it's a cash grab, and he's pulling what Wings of Redemption's doing, and he's just trying to milk this shit for everything he has. Because he knows he can't do this forever. But it's all he has. It's all he's good at. It's all he knows. He's not even good at it. But it's all he knows. I don't know, Scooby. Here we go.
All of my money basically went to bills because so many bills went up in 2018. In particular, all my credit card bills doubled. That's not me exaggerating. Every credit card payment I had doubled. And I have a lot of credit card debt. I mean, you're talking over $1,000 a month that I used to have in my pocket gone just because they raised the minimum payments. They all raised the interest because the Fed in the United States raised the interest rates.
Okay, fair enough. First off, he's blaming it on the Fed, and that's not the point. When he accepted the terms of the balance transfer, or when he took up the offer, I should say, on it, he knew what the interest rate was going to be after it expired. Phil he doesn't have enough credit, or his credit isn't good enough, which, as Tevin says, for what he's doing, he doesn't deserve good credit. So fuck him on that. But because all those introductory rates expired on him, he didn't have another card to push all those balances over to. He had no choice but to eat them, eat the interest that came with it, which is probably for him like 24.97%, I guess. I think. I don't know. I'm not really quite sure. I certainly have better credit than him, so I don't have anything that high. So that's one of his main problems as it comes to the credit. Overall, though, his general situation as it pertains to what happened to the extra $1,000. He said he used to have $1,000 each month in his pocket at any given time before his interest rates went up. Then where's that $1,000 at? Where's the accumulation of all those months where he had an extra $1,000 at his disposal? Did he save it? Did he defer it over to pay another bill? What did he do with it? If you have an extra $1,000 in your pocket, because he was obviously only making the minimum monthly payments on his credit card. Here's the thing. That's another thing, actually. How is it that you have an extra $1,000 in your pocket after you make all your credit card payments, and you can't tell me that he wasn't making only the minimum monthly payments? If he had an extra $1,000, that's a couple of $100 he could have thrown on top of his regular monthly payments to those credit card companies and knocked that shit out. He could have done that. Now, some of you might make the argument, oh, well, maybe he deferred it to taxes. GTG, maybe that's where it went. Okay, fair enough. Allow me to retort. Then where's the money for that at? He said he's already told you he doesn't have any money saved up for taxes. So where's that money at? So that's a problem in itself too. So, we can keep dividing up his income, at least for what we know, all we want, but either which way, at the end of the day, things ain't adding up. Shit ain't squaring off. And that's where our major problem, that's the problem that we're kind of having. And this is why Phil is under so much scrutiny when it comes to his finances, because he can't explain where things are going. It's actually because of the fact that he's so vague about shit, and then he lets stuff slip out through his actual gameplay and not the pre-streams, that you literally have to have people like Mr. Huffstuff and Snort and Mighty D and everybody else essentially kind of go back and have to just throw random pieces out there to put that shit together just to figure out where everything's at. And he does all of this on purpose. But then he gets mad because no one will come out and support him. When in truth, if you're a Phil fan, you can't even get the information directly from the source. You can't get the best quality, pork ribs out of Phil. You have to go to somebody else that has to clean up the mess and cut it properly and then cook it right, marinate it and do everything else and then give it to you. That's the only way you can get the finished product, because you can't get it through him.
So they all raised the interest rates on the cards, which made them raise the minimum payments. And now I'm paying double every month on every credit card than I used to. So, that's where all my fucking money goes now. It sucks. But yeah, that's what I'm worried. I'm thinking if let's say I owed $16,000, I didn't pay any of it. So not only do I owe that, but now there's going to be taxes, fees. I'm assuming $4,000 to $5,000. So maybe $21,000 I'm going to owe. That's what I'm thinking.
Now, sorry, because this actually just popped up. Remember how he is trying so very hard to refinance his home, right? So he can get that big money, so he can take care of his credit cards, and I would assume, if he's smart, he'll try to knock out all of his business and personal loans too. I'm going to separate him into business loans and personal loans because I'm sure he tried to take out both. And I assume that Kat's credit probably isn't too strong, because if not, I would assume he would have already asked her to take out a loan up to this point. But she doesn't have a long enough work history for that to happen. Just my guess, of course. That's why he needs to refinance his home. Let me throw something at you guys for just a second. What if Phil is purposely deferring taxes for the next couple of years, just so it buys him enough time to be able to refinance his home? Then use that large gap, because he keeps hyping up how much money's in his home, right? So what if, and if he was smart, then he would have taken that extra $1,000 and thrown that into his mortgage payment, at least for the house in Seattle, so he can continue to increase how much he actually has in his home, how much money he has accumulated. Let's say that he's looking to refinance his home equity. That's the word I was looking for. Let's say he's actually deferring his taxes so he can try to hold off and build up as much equity in his home as possible, so then he can refinance and then try to blast all of that out at once. I'm just going to throw that all out there. Now, let's talk about the obvious insanity that entails. One, oh boy. Oh, no. Even if he decides to defer his taxes, obviously the government is going to add interest onto all of that. And that can accumulate fast, given on how much he owes each year, which it's not as much as he says, but that's neither here nor there. Secondly, he has to, if he's really living on the brink and everything's paid off from credit cards, which we all know that, because for whatever reason he doesn't believe in saving nor holding on to cash, he has to hope that his credit, can hold out until then. And to be perfectly honest with you, from just what he's told us, there isn't a bank out there that's going to is going to refinance his home. He has way too much fucking debt. And if this idiot, and he is an idiot because he acts like an idiot, has the nerve to go in there and say, oh, well, I can't pay off my bills because I don't have the money to do it. Well, if we refinance your home, how are you going to end up paying us back? Oh, well, I'll be freed up now and I'll have the money to pay you. But if that's the case, then why couldn't you just pay the bills that you already have? See how that's the problem? And that's been the problem since the jump. You see what I'm saying? So he's going to lose his home. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm not trying to be funny or nothing about it. He's going to lose his home. And if it's not sooner, it'll be later. Eventually he's going to do it, because he doesn't make enough doing what he's doing to sustain the lifestyle that he wants. And the lifestyle is beyond his home. It's what he puts in, what he shoves down his gullet, or the shit that he hangs up in his house to make him feel whole, or whatever Kat's siphoning off. He just doesn't make enough. This isn't 2013. You don't make enough. You've been in a decline for 5-6 years. 5 years. We'll say 5 years. You've been in a decline for 5 years. It's not a detractor that's fucking you over, hence the reason why your income's so bad. You're just not, no one cares. You're slowly but surely dying. The majority of views that are on your video, well, let's say not the majority, a fraction of those views that you have on your video are detractors. And no, they're probably not clicking no ads. Which actually, that's another thing too. Real quick, this chick, Bad Bunny, who was running around saying that if you watch Twitch and you're not contributing to any of the content creators on there, you're a leech. She seems like someone I'd like to talk to. So we'll look into that later on. So that's kind of like his situation as a whole, and you're kind of seeing the problems that are going to come out. These people who don't want to refinance his home, I believe firmly that they're looking out for him, not trying to screw him over or not taking him seriously. I think they are taking you seriously. And they're realizing there's no way he's going to be able to pay this back. He's going to lose his home in a couple years. That's what they're doing. They're trying to help you save your home. So it will require you to work a little harder. But Phil doesn't want to make any changes. He wants to kind of just keep being lazy and keep being complacent and just keep doing what he's doing and then beg to you guys. And then gets mad because people make fun of him because of his begging. or they look into his finances a little deeper because shit don't sound right. I don't know, Scooby. Let's continue.
Maybe by the time April 15th comes, I'll have between 8 and 10,000 left from the gifted subs. If that, we'll have to see. Because the other problem is I have to pay for them to do my taxes, and guess how much they're going to charge me? They just told me $1,230 to do my taxes this year. That's what the tax attorney said. $1,230 to do my taxes. Now, the older guy that I used to use in Connecticut also used to charge me that much. He used to charge me $1,250. But when he did that, he used to do both my state and federal. This is just for federal. I'm going to be charged $1,230. So right there, that's $1,230 I should have been paying. I could go to the government. Instead, it's got to go to the tax attorney to pay for the services rendered. So that's what I mean. Like, money comes and money goes. And it sucks because even though I did get all these gifted subs in December, a lot of that's going to be gone by the time April comes for various reasons. So maybe I'll have, hopefully, 8,000, maybe, to put towards the taxes from that. And then, like I said, whatever else I raise, maybe I could get really good and a really good event in March, and maybe for my birthday, some really good stuff. And then I end up raising, a few more $1,000. Maybe I can at least pay half of what I owe.
And as another thing I want to bring up real fast, on top of the birthday shit with that dry ass cake, mommy and daddy sent him birthday money because they do every year. And then on top of that, he was probably asking them for money. They were probably sending him money each month up until the beginning of this year. They probably still do, and he's just lying about that too. So he's literally siphoning money off everybody as best he can. And do any of you really believe that when Phil says, I can't borrow money from my mom and daddy anymore because they don't have it, yet your mommy and daddy have enough money to fly you and to fly you and Cat out on vacation, not stay with them, not use their car, but to stay in a nice hotel and get you a rent-a-car. So, but you're telling me that mommy and daddy don't have any money. Daddy and mommy Burnell don't have any extra for you at all to give you right now to help you out, but they can fly you out to Connecticut, you and your soulmate, and basically have you guys stay at a nice place. Because Phil's not going to want to stay at a shitty hotel. He's going to want to stay at a nice one. Okay. All right.
By mid-April, that would probably be ideal. And that way it's if you're talking $10,000 or less, that's not a huge deal. Usually the government will work with you, so hopefully this will all work out, but I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, best case scenario, I put out amazing stuff in March and April. I do a marathon. People come out, and it ends up being real generous, and I get a giant, I raise a bunch of funds to go towards it, and it's not a big deal. But that's like best case scenario, and I don't know what's going to happen. Probably not very realistic. Android, please stop. Android thinks he knows anything about this stuff. He doesn't. First, he says he has a friend who makes over $100,000, so he doesn't pay $20K. Then he says, why are you using a tax attorney? You should be using a CPA. It's like... Anyway. Because we all know that tax attorneys are not CPAs. They're not exactly the same fucking thing. I'm not even gonna get into it. Android, you don't know what you're talking about. You should stop right now. Even if you
well, they're not the same thing, to be honest. But whatever.
Are legitimately trying to help. All you're doing is wasting time and making yourself look bad. So please stop. Okay. Let's continue building my roof. Now that it's the correct height. Yeah, we're not talking about it anymore, guys. The bottom line is, tax issue is my issue right now. I got it, like I said, next week there'll be a couple streams where I can't stream the normal time because I have to deal with it. I have to do my taxes. After that, it's in the hands of my CPA, my accountant, whatever you want to call them. And then I'm going to have hopefully more information about it, by the end of April. But I will be doing special events in March to try to raise funds to help with it. And if you contribute, great. That'd be amazing. If you want to give me suggestions on an event I could do for a marathon or whatever to help with that, great. I'm open to the input. And that's that. We don't need to talk about it in detail over and over and over, especially when there's no specific info anyway. So, Crystal Leader says it might be a bit unprofessional to talk numbers to your audience. Dude, the thing is, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because if I don't, then everyone says I just fucking make it up. If I do, then people are like, oh, how could you, Why would you disclose that? I can't. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm in the wrong. So I don't really care.
Thank you for joining me here on another episode of the Pig Roach Files. I know some of this was just theory. I know some of it was speculation. However, this pattern has been going on for a little while now, where the pig roach complains about his taxes, his pay pigs step up and help him, and the cycle continues. There will be no relief yet from this tax saga. It'll take another year of him begging and living paycheck to paycheck, as he claims, to continue his pig roach lifestyle. Please leave a comment below, drop a like, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, to help the DIA grow and further their cause. I enjoyed live streaming the other day, and lo and behold, as I tweeted out, the first game after I stopped the stream, I ended up winning a match with 2 other random guys in Apex Legends. Luckily, on a whim, I recorded that match. I'm currently working on editing that content so I can put it up here on the channel for you guys to enjoy. It's a step in a different direction for us, but I want to show you something outside of the DIA, something away from the pig roach, as I know that it can be very toxic to be around him for a long stint of time. You need to enjoy something outside of the pig roach every now and then, and playing games like I did the other day is definitely one of those high points for me. I work 40 hours a week. I picked up a weekend job to go ahead and make things a little bit easier on my home life. I'm not saying it to brag or gloat or beg. I'm just stating that that's what an adult does to go ahead and better themselves. It's that thing of constant improvement. It's helping yourself out. Something that the pig roach never does. But I look forward to keep on improving these videos. Keep on improving the Gentleman's Club podcast, which I plan on recording one next week, hopefully with Dante Crisis as our special guest. I think that would be a good and interesting talk with him, as he's upcoming on some streams, and he produces some fun content, and he always enjoys coming in and laughing about the pig roach with us. So, enjoy the new content coming out. Enjoy a good laugh at the pig roach. Stay safe, guys, and get the word of the DIA out there for others to see. Thank you, and have a great day. I'll see you next time on another episode of the Pig Roach Files.